Let's solve problem number 3. Okay, solve for the range of the functions f of x and g of x. Now let's consider f of x, which is equal to the square root of x plus 2. And we already solved for the domain of f of x in the previous video. And we found out that the domain of f of x is equal to x is an element of real numbers such that x is greater than or equal to -2. Now, for us to find the range of f of x, then let's use the values of x in the domain. So here, uh, we know that when x is equal to, okay, the minimum value of x here is -2. So when x is equal to -2, let's use the function, okay? And the value of the function f of x is equal to 0 because once we substitute -2 to x, this becomes -2 plus 2, which is 0, and the square root of 0 is 0. And we can also use positive, other numbers such as a -1, all right, 0, 1, or 2. So let's use -1 for x. If x is equal to -1, the radicand would be 1. So the square root of 1 is 1. And if x is 0, so this becomes square root of 2. So the square root of 2 is square root of 2. And if x is equal to 1, the radicand becomes 3. And the square root of 3 is square root of 3. And if x is equal to 2, the radicand becomes 4. And the square root of 4 is equal to 2. And as we observe, as the value of x increases, the value of y also increases. So we can now conclude that the value of the range of f is equal to y, which is an element of real numbers, such that y is greater than or equal to 0. Now, it is possible for y to be 0 since x could be equal to -2. So which makes it 0, and the square root of 0 is 0. So this is now our range for f of x, okay? And let's solve for the range of the function g of x, which is equal to the square root of 3 minus x. And let's recall again that the domain of g, as we solved in our previous video, is x is an element of real number where x is less than or equal to 3. Okay, so here we're going to do the same approach as what we've done in finding the range of f of x. So let's consider the values of x here. So the minimum value of x is equal, or maximum value of x is 3. We can consider 2, 1, 0, -1, and so on and so forth. So if x is equal to 3, the radicand becomes 0, so the square root of 0 is 0. If x is equal to 2, the value of the radicand is 1, so the square root of 1 is 1. And if x is equal to 1, so 3 minus 1 is 2, so the square root of 2 is 2. If x is equal to 0, it becomes square root of 3. Okay, and if it's 1 or -1, the radicand becomes 4, and the square root of 4 is 2, and so on and so forth. So as x becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, okay, as x becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, the values of y becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. So we can now make a conclusion regarding the range of the function g, okay? So y is an element of real numbers, all real numbers, such that y is greater than or equal to 0. So we already found the range of the functions f and g.